You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show.
Yes, there we go.
I love it.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing, as you guys may know, and we're here doing another Revenge After Show for Season 1, Episode 21, called Grief. Quite the episode. Very somber, very, we were screaming at each other in the screening room. I, of course, am your host, Phil Svitek, joined alongside a smaller panel today, but nevertheless a strong panel, starting with...
Hi, I'm Kimlai.
Yingling. And alongside her...
And I'm Gabrielle, Loren. Hello.
I gotta say, I really like having like a full desk. Like, I feel like really in control right now.
Thanks,
I should kick off more people.
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't kick anyone off. They just, unfortunately, Dorinda's out of town, and Catherine Tulich, she's at an event. But I do like my desk, so we'll see if the quality goes up on my side of things. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about Charlotte and Declan. Why don't we talk about Declan first? And you know, we knew we were headed for disaster when he brought in the new boo.
Yes.
I'm gonna call her the new boo.
I didn't realize, at first I didn't realize it was going to be a study buddy. But you could tell that there were sparks. Something was going to happen. I mean, that was just such a given.
Yeah.
But I think something needs to happen. I don't know if that'll like develop.
I think
it seems like they have a connection. She's a little more grounded than Charlotte.
No, I mean, I think it was kind of headed that way. But
What was headed that way?
their kind of romance. But as soon as he saw Charlotte, he knew he had made a mistake and whatnot. And this is just a general note for the episode. What was nice is we were kind of predicting things as they were happening because we had the dramatic irony, but it made us still enjoy it nonetheless.
It's like the typical effed up situation that you see in reality where like the guy stays with the girl who has so many problems. Like she's a drug user, her family's messed up, like caught in between this whole circle of lies. Yet he has this really cute girl like that he's studying with and she's into him and he like sees Charlotte in a second and he's over her. You know what I mean? It's just so typical.
Well, we don't know if he's over her yet. I mean,
No, I
it
think
just
they're gonna
ended right
develop.
with Charlotte leaving.
But you could see the feelings in his face when Charlotte walks in. I agree with you, Kimlai. I think that, yes, something's going to develop there. But at the same time, you see him, like, revert back to Charlotte when she walks in.
But that's still very fresh.
It's still very fresh, but what was so tough is that, you know, he's been begging to, like, have this moment with Charlotte, and... You know, we all just looked at each other like, "Why this moment? Like, just don't."
It just had to happen.
New
the
boo,
way
don't
it
come out of
happens.
don't come out of the shower. But
I mean, in Revenge, it's funny. Everyone loves to just go to people's houses without, like, knocking on doors or, you know, asking to come over. They just walk right in.
well, to be fair, he lives at a bar, and so like she knows
Him, but then, like, look at freaking Emily. Everyone's peering in her windows. It happens all the time, you know? People are always stalking other
I
people.
know, what was
and, like,
Ashley doing
coming
there?
unannounced.
We'll get to that.
Oh my
We'll get there.
Lord.
We'll get there.
Okay, so back to Charlotte and Declan real quick. I do think that I think it's a game changer now that she is not paying for his school. Because that's her way of holding on to him a bit. And now that he's becoming a little more independent of Charlotte, I mean, yes, she got him in, but now Nolan's taking care of him. I feel that
well, that was the
she
first.
feels him
Let's talk
slipping
about it.
away.
I'm gonna call him like arrows, right? That was the first arrow in her heart, and then she sees the girl, and wow, you've moved on so fast. And that's actually a good point. The money being the first one. So very good. Very good observation.
Thank you so much.
And Charlotte just completely it's what do you call it? The vice, right? Not like a vice as in something bad that you do, but vice that just grips you, right?
Okay.
She's caught in all of this, and she's just ready to explode. Poor girl.
Yeah.
The family problems, the therapy, and then going to the drugs.
Well, yeah. I mean, she just finds out she has a new dad. The dad she has wasn't really her dad all these years. Her mom and dad are fighting. Her fake dad. Daniel's going through all this stuff. I mean, I can't imagine how she's Well, obviously she's coping by taking Oxy, but it's a lot, even in TV land.
It makes me so upset because now even Daniel's messed up and he's caught in this freaking mess. You know, and it's like Charlotte's really alone right now.
Yeah.
At first, in the beginning of the season, I'm like, oh, it's Daniel and Charlotte. They're both struggling. But now it's just Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's the loner by herself.
It really is. And, and to your point, Gabby, I think that's very good. Dan's always said he's got to get out of the family. That's the only way to escape. And Charlotte, she has that same line. And in fact, that's what she's trying to do. I don't know. We don't know if she's successful or not, or will be. Who knows? But that's what she's trying to do. And the tough part is she thought she could trust Declan, and he breaks her heart. There's nothing in the world for her to hold on to.
Yeah, but I think she came to the realization in this episode that he didn't do it to hurt her necessarily. I think she's kind of coming to those terms. Because when you look at it, coming from her perspective, it's like she has this messed up family. And then look at Declan, like he's normal. And I feel like now she's starting to get like, okay, Declan was the only normal good thing in my life. I think that she's realizing that now.
I think she is too, but the fact that he moved on, in her mind, he moved on so quick, whether or not, at the end of the day, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are girls, so you would know better than I would. But regardless of whether or not something had happened between the two of them, the fact that it's still suspicious, and even if he has this friend companion, it doesn't matter. He's moved on in that sense. Whether he slept with her or not is irrelevant. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. But see, you guys, I don't even think he's moved on. I mean, it's just a
Well,
study buddy.
we know he hasn't.
Right.
But you can see where Charlotte, the mind jumps there.
Yes. Because, I mean, this is just a friend. I mean, she's helping. They were okay, come on. It's like they're studying.
Friends that are
then
interested.
You lose the dog. Not yet. You lose the dog. And so she's obviously not
Girl,
a sociopath.
he's just a friend.
And
I don't know. She
helping
took a
him look for
shower
the dog
at his place.
No, but she was soaking wet, you guys. The weather was
Go
horrible.
home, please.
But, oh, yeah,
I don't believe
yeah,
that.
you
It is what it
guys.
Do you take showers in guys' apartments
She
that
didn't
you
take
just
a
met?
shower. She got rid of her wet clothes.
Oh, but would you do that and just wear his T-shirt and that's it?
You know what she should have
You
done?
don't even, and you only met him once.
This is
or
what you're
have
going
a
to call an
class with
awesome
him.
transition.
my
She should have
goodness.
bought more clothes on Amazon.
She should have.
And speaking of Amazon, I'm sure a lot of you guys buy stuff online.
Like underwear and pants.
Rain gear.
Well, underwear, pants, rain gear, books, DVDs. God knows. I mean, the whole gamut. But you got the point is, you guys do it on Amazon. And so now the cool part is, in case you guys haven't heard this awesome news, is instead of going to Amazon directly, you can help out AfterBuzz TV by going to AfterBuzzTV.com first. And there's an Amazon banner there. Click that and then make your purchase, whatever that may be. Again, whether it's clothes, underwear, books, DVDs, who knows. And it doesn't cost you anything extra, and we get a percentage of that, and we get to do more cool things for you guys.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome program.
I think it's an awesome program too.
Me three.
What's not an awesome program is the marriage between
Victoria and Conrad.
well, I was going to say
Daniel and
yes, and I'm going to backtrack because it's not a marriage yet; it's a proposal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's only. Go ahead.
Well, they're headed that way, and Daniel obviously wants to get married,
Yeah.
and it's not the right time for Emily in more sense than one. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about Daniel's shift, if you will.
Oh, good. Yes. I don't necessarily care for it. I don't care for his new alliance with his father. I mean, I think he's becoming a little jaded.
You don't care for it because it frustrates you, or like I mean, that's a strong word. You can't say you don't care about it because that's obviously a very pitiful thing, and you know what I mean.
I wish that he wouldn't turn his back so much on his mom.
Well, the mom failed him. We talked about it at length, and I think
Well, so is the dad, but he doesn't realize it.
Yeah,
he
they
doesn't.
both
He has
failed
no
him.
idea. I just wish he wouldn't have switched gears completely. Like,
Right.
he's all for his dad. And it's like, even his thought process of the caring that goes into putting this wedding on for his fiance and it being so public now, it's like his
How
thought
about this?
process is
I'm gonna play a fun game. I like that.
Are we doing the therapy session like they did on the show?
I like
Yes.
what I need.
I'm gonna say, I like that Daniel thinks, he wants peace in the family and things like that. But what he, at the end of the day, what he really needs is, as he says, 100% transparency. And his father is the only one that's given him that. And at this point, with the evidence that Victoria handed over, which we'll talk more at length about, but it's too late.
For Daniel and his dad?
No, for Victoria to kind of restore whatever there may have been. Now the grasp that Conrad has Dan in is too strong. So
But I think it'll eventually come out. I think Victoria needs to stop. I think her giving up the evidence was very, very good. I think the less she does, because stuff always comes out. It will come out, and he will see the other side, and I think then he will go back to his mom because he will see
you think so?
the other side. Yeah.
Gabby, what do you think?
I definitely think, and it's funny because they also said in the episode, well, I just, sorry, I'm like losing it a little. I feel like Victoria has, like she said before, she's always looked out for her children. And I think she has. She's right. She has. Every decision she's made, she's sacrificed true love to fight for her children and give her children, a better life.
You know what? I thought she was going to mention that tonight. When Daniel says, whatever the comment, the fact that she gave up, when she said that thing about, I do everything for you guys, it's the two of you always, the fact that she stayed married, remember? And she stayed quiet so Daniel could have the life and her that they have.
Right.
Yeah.
She has sacrificed so much. And I thought at that point she was going to actually say something, but I mean, she didn't, which is good because I think that for their relationship, it's going to have to come out organically through other avenues, not her pushing it.
I would say then
ahead.
technically
Oh, Gabby.
that she has been there for her children regardless. So I think in this situation, if Daniel should side with anyone, it should be at least, if not both, her. Because the father has always been about business, and he's going to do anything he can to help the business, and that could take place over family.
Oh, it does.
You know what I mean? And
It does, but guess what? If as in this case, you side with the business side of things, which Daniel's doing, then guess what? You're protected under that clause.
Right, and I think Daniel's making a mistake, and I think he's just so wishy-washy, and his character actually bothers me now because I feel like he doesn't make his own decisions. He's very dependent. I feel like he's easily manipulated by people,
He's
and
soft.
gullible. Yeah, he's soft.
He's not strong.
I feel like anyone that's a good manipulator or just someone that can, turn over your opinion could easily influence him to change sides in the drop of a hat because he doesn't have a strong opinion about anything.
Agreed.
I think he's finally starting to get that, but I think to your point, Kimlai, I actually think if Victoria had broken down, then perhaps he would have changed his mind again. And I think that's what he needs from her. And she, in terms of coming out organically, it's been coming out organically through all these other avenues, and that's what makes him angry. He needs her to break down and cry in front of him. That's what he needs from her.
See, I think that if she does that, he's going to think she's acting.
Yeah, me too.
Well, at this
I feel
point,
like
It's like she's really trying to pull out
before.
all the cards. And now they'll break down and crying, and I don't think he would feel bad for her one bit.
I think she just wants him to realize for himself the mess that's been created, and I think she wants him to come to his own realization. But judging by this episode, I feel as though Daniel's made his choice. He's following the father. She's letting her son go. Yeah. She knows she's losing him along with her ex-husband and the business.
Well, let's just talk about Emily and Dan specifically. In terms of them, how is Emily playing this? Is it now with the newfound knowledge of who killed her father? Is she playing it wrong in terms of the marriage? And we obviously know, when Ashley comes, there's a specific reason because she has to get out of there. But before that, when she's in the morning, she can be a little bit nicer to Dan, and it's just making him kind of very suspicious, which isn't good. Emily, yes, is making Dan very suspicious.
Yes. But, I mean, she's getting so much information because she's bugged the office, Conrad's office, and she knows all this stuff. Obviously, she's going to be upset.
Yes.
Because his alliance now with his father, it's affecting everybody. And so while she's watching this, I mean, I would be upset too. And so it's going to be hard to, he's not going to know why you're upset, obviously. She does have a right to be upset. I think it's hard to have this kind of knowledge from her standpoint, not be upset, hold it in, and act like everything is okay. You know, it's like
That's that's been her strength. That's what she prides herself on.
But I think the turning point came when Daniel didn't speak the truth in the interview.
Yeah.
I think that's when the turning point came. And now I think she's so done with him. Like, any feelings she had towards him, I feel like they're diminishing. And you can see in this episode that she's just losing it with him. She lost her patience with him.
Yeah.
Because she knows she needs to get things done, and he's getting in her way. And she's losing it. And she's showing him a little bit of her true colors.
I would agree.
I think so too.
But what sucks is that we'll talk about the Ashley thing in one moment. Well, actually, because there's precursor. When she's on the phone with Nolan, giving him instructions, she gives away the address.
Oh, I know. You two were having an issue with that.
Well,
Like,
because
no.
Oh, yeah. I knew that was gonna. Didn't I say that? I called
Both
it.
of you.
Yes,
And I was like,
because-
what's the big deal?
the big deal is, had
What the
something happened there, or regardless, it can still come back into play. But
Okay.
if and when something happens, that was the meeting, and Conrad can say, how easy is it for Conrad to say, especially now that they're in alliance with Dan, hey, I met the gray-haired man at the address, and Daniel's like, wait, why have I heard that address before? Emily. It's too easy to tie in her, to something being
Okay.
whatever happened, and then and again, he's been
what?
suspicious of her before, especially when Tyler, said all the things he said, and Daniel's kind of forgiven that, but now this is another.
You think
thing.
that's why Nolan gave the wrong address so that Daniel wouldn't tie it together? No.
No.
He's protecting her.
Yes.
No.
Okay,
But we're
I
talking
thought
about
that's
the
what you were
first
saying.
time
The first time, the actual address
phone.
when
that was-
Conrad met him, the
Yes.
white-haired man.
That was
Remember they were
Emily
having
giving.
lunch?
Yeah, you're right.
That was Emily giving instructions to Nolan.
Yes.
Therefore, it was the actual correct address. So there.
You know what? That makes sense because especially with what they were showing for next week, that could come back because obviously the white-haired man has more. He's
onto it.
on the show more next week and takes people, and so that address, obviously something's gonna happen with him and his dad, and he's gonna say he met him there. It's gonna happen. What you just said.
Yeah.
You're
So-
right. I'm just putting it together in my head.
And that's
so
why
it's
it was
not coming out right.
Ronnie ready for this? Ronnie, pull up my comedy
what-
soundboard.
Oh no!
I know, that's a prediction
You're
right
gonna make a
there.
joke.
What are we doing?
No.
What are we doing?
Find my dun dun dun.
No.
Because as soon as she gave away the address,
Yes.
it was
Dun dun dun.
Oh my goodness, Ronnie.
at least we got that.
19 different soundboards. Which one are
Yes,
you
for
talking?
you to use.
But
for
which
you to use
one?
at your disposal.
Comedy crowd?
No, I want the dun dun dun.
Where's that at?
Marissa? Get in there.
Marissa's-
Get involved.
Marissa's off
Get involved.
iTuning.
All right. Anyway,
That's
all
funny.
right.
I did well. Dun dun dun.
I wanted the soundboard.
That's me doing it.
Anyway, all right.
We're very organic.
That's
here.
me. That reminds me of like old school like Nickelodeon shows.
All right, let me take it back. See,
Smile.
I was trying to make the show fun.
Getting us
I
off course.
gave
Getting us
Ronnie.
off course,
Well, I'm
Gabby.
We
I'm
might
gonna
as
get
well
us
do but we might as well do Gamefly while we're doing it, and then you guys
All right.
get back on course. So I
Let's
will
talk
tell
about-
you.
Speaking of all the fun we're having, let me tell you some other fun you can have. Gamefly, baby. Do you guys play video games?
No.
Sometimes.
Well, Frogger.
Well, is it because they're like $60 to $70 and you just don't want to pay that kind of money?
Yeah, now it's a little hard, but
Wait, there's a bunch of games on my phone.
Yeah, but even those are probably 60. And they're not as fun. Come on, let's be honest.
Wait, the iPhone ones are free.
Yeah, some are, but they're not fun. Anyway, so fun games.
Okay.
Right? They cost a lot. So Gamefly.com, it allows it's a website. It's basically the Netflix of video gaming.
Nice.
And so the cool part is that we're now kind of teaming up with them. And so if you go to Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV,
Okay.
so remember that, Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV, you can sign up for a free 15-day trial. And now the cool part is, again, like Netflix, you get a video game and you can play it as long as you want, then return it, then get another one, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh.
And so really hit them up. 15-day free trial. Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV.
interesting.
Nice.
Thank you, Ron.
Not-
But yeah, so and you know
I
what?
thought that was the dun dun dun.
No, that wasn't the dun dun dun. No. Just can you try on your own time?
Wow.
Go to Gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV. Sign up for all the games, and you can play your soundboards. You can play other video
Oh my
games.
goodness,
And by
it's
the
so
way,
funny.
it covers the whole gamut. Whether you have a PlayStation, an Xbox, Wii,
Commodore 64,
perhaps.
Atari.
I think the
I can't
Revenge
vouch for
fans
those,
love
but-
it. Yeah.
But you know,
Nobody's gonna be buying video games anymore. That stinks.
yeah, but they're gonna be playing them, so who cares?
Yeah, it works.
GameFly is gonna buy them so that way you don't have to.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
But back to the marriage.
Okay.
Let's talk about Ashley and the meeting downstairs. Mm-hmm. So
Well, first, can I say I really, really, really love that Emily's bugged Conrad's office.
yes,
That's all.
Thank you.
I just really wanted to put it out there.
No,
It's just knowledge is power. And you know what? That is a great way to stay on top of things.
and she's finally she's able to pull all this evidence. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and she is learning all these things. Mm-hmm. And but in terms of I really hate Ashley. I'm gonna just
I
continue
know.
to say
All
it.
of us.
Who likes Ashley?
I don't
Raise
know
your
what
hand.
the deal is.
No one's
I
raising their hand.
I don't like her character much. I don't know if it
Her
necessarily.
and Daniel should
it
get
doesn't add
married
too
and
much.
go off somewhere.
Oh, I think that's
Seriously.
at the very beginning. Obviously, she was trying to get into the family. I think
Yeah.
that would have been fantastic for
Probably how it
her.
will end.
And Emily kind of
Perhaps.
put a little kink in that.
Yes, but obviously Daniel's growing closer to Ashley because now they're forming a trio with Conrad. Well, actually, I would say a quad. What would you call it? Let's call it.
Well,
quad.
who is it? It's just the three
It's
of them.
Lydia, Conrad, Ashley, and Dan.
Oh,
That's the four
Yeah.
legs.
I forgot
But,
about Lydia.
So Ashley wants to help, and obviously Emily she's texting Nolan, and again it just sucks because this as we're gonna predict more is gonna come back. The fact that and as soon as Daniel pulled that phone, we all went,
I'm
I
sorry.
so thought he was going to look at her phone.
yeah, that could have been such a bad moment.
Cinematography of this,
Oh.
the close up of Daniel's facial expression when he heard the address just tells you it's coming back. That's
In the
all.
preview that we saw.
No, I'm saying like in that room when Emily was on the phone, they they did a close up on Daniel's facial expression.
Yeah.
Oh, after she said
And he
the
was like,
address.
it was kind of like what are you doing? Kind of like,
And here, what's also interesting, I really want to know, they didn't show this to us, but how long he might have been actually listening. Because he walks in, and granted, yes, that could have been him just walking in and without having heard anything, or it could have been him there for a while, listening to a few things, and then storming in like you kind of typically do, and then, what's up? And then see how they react. And obviously, she reacted very suspiciously. Oh, I'm just calling the charity or whatever it is.
right. He was on to her though.
Yeah, he's so onto her. And-
Definitely, especially after what happened with Tyler
Yeah.
a few EPs ago.
Please, they don't trust each other anymore. That went out the window 5 episodes
And
ago.
I think you are right to point that out, Gabby, because if you see him, I don't know if his arms are crossed, but he's definitely very straight and very stern. And he's kind of looking over his shoulder like he doesn't give a F.
Wait, in the room when he hears the address?
Daniel, well, doesn't give an F about her. Certainly
Oh.
about the address, yes.
Yeah, well, I just saw the aha moment, like something's going on. She's up to something in his facial expression, so that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think you are absolutely right in that.
It's gonna come back.
It will. And then we can't talk. Finally, the making out. We've been waiting for Jack and Emily to kind of finally go back together. And the
wow.
big thing was that she was actually falling for Daniel, and now she's
No,
reverting
she made
that.
her decision. You know what? That dog, because Sammy was sick and passed away, it's like losing another family member, but for both of them.
And that was sheer brilliance in the way out of things that were going to happen, I did not actually predict that Sammy would come on the doorstep of Emily and that she'd find him. That was totally unpredictable, and I really liked the way they wrote that in.
Wanted to say
I do
goodbye.
too. And you guys, it definitely brought Emily and Jack back together. And it's like, and he said it too. I wrote it and then he said it. But it's like, it was his only connection to Emily or Amanda.
Yeah.
You know, back then. And if Nolan, we got to get to Nolan. This won't make sense. But Nolan doing what he did tonight, intervening, if he wouldn't have done that tonight, she wouldn't have been at the house for the dog, for Jack, the kiss. None of it would have happened.
And that's
so
the realization.
It was meant to happen.
And she came to that. She came to it.
But I wrote it first.
There you go.
Also, I feel like if you heard what Jack said when they were outside digging the grave for Sammy, he said to Emily how I'm losing my train of thought again.
Well, he was saying how, you know, the dog was, you know, it was always led him to her.
No, that's not what I was going to say. Because they kissed, he said, so what are we going to do now? Or something to that effect.
Dun,
And she
dun,
said,
dun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What are we going to do now? As in, they're going to be having an affair and this is going to be prolonged. That's what I was getting. That's what I was getting.
And I think it is a genuine moment for her, in the sense that I think this was unexpected.
Yes.
And it really changes up the plan, so to speak. She had this plan. She was going to go down there. She was going to get this gray-haired man. It was going to be the classic Western standoff, me or him. I'm okay if I die, but I'm going to die trying. And then this happened, and you know, now she's swept up in emotion and grief.
Yeah.
And you guys, what was Ashley doing standing outside of the window?
At that time of night. Seriously.
No, well, I really like, out of the things that I like Ashley as a character in terms of like, you know, the story purposes, but I really hate her and things she's doing. But the one thing I did agree with her on was when they were doing the wedding planning and Ashley says to her, like, you're not sorry, so don't pretend to be. That was a really cold dig. And you know, she's on to Emily. And
Well, I don't think she wants to be planning their wedding either. You know, I mean, she's working for Conrad, and I think she thought she's going to be doing other things, and planning their wedding is probably the last thing she wants to do.
I think she's happy to do that.
And now, like I
Really?
said in the screening room, I think Ashley now feels like she's above everybody because of her new job title with Conrad. Like, she feels better than people. So she is now going to say whatever the hell she wants to say to Emily because she doesn't care. She's not employed by Emily.
Yeah, and that's why I think she's always been suspicious of Emily. And as she says, we don't know your past. And Emily, at that point, wasn't really paying attention to that statement. And, you know, that's why now Ashley is going to be spying on her.
Damn. That was just weird to see her face.
Yeah, but it
was like,
wasn't unexpected.
Maybe Conrad sent her over to check on them since he knew someone was threatening them
yes and no.
and spying on them.
Ironically, I think not, because I think this give Ashley a little bit more credit. She's taken on the initiative on her own. I don't think
Which she does well.
She does.
She has done that quite a bit in past episodes.
And she hasn't always been right, but this
I
time.
don't know if like my neighbor's assistant was coming and creeping at my windows late at night.
Well, obviously it's not a thing that you want, but
911.
Right. I thought it was going to be Daniel.
that's what we thought. Yes, that would have been the predictable thing,
Yeah.
though, and it wasn't predictable.
wasn't. That also was a very genius shot because it was like you didn't see who was peering through the window, but it was the perspective of the person peering through the window, and then they did the close up of Ashley's face.
Yeah, and
And it wasn't
that was a big aha moment for us.
Yeah.
And then as they're digging the grave, I really, you know, to fully bring Jack and Emily together, you know, he says like every time, you know, Sammy would leave, he'd always lead me here, and I've been holding on to Amanda, but you know what? Maybe it's time to let her go.
And she said, "You need to let her go," which that also surprised me too. Does that mean
Well,
she's?
Well, but I think she means the other Amanda.
No, she does, but at the same time, it's like, does she want him to just like? That also means that she's not willing to tell him the truth anytime soon.
No,
If she speaks like that,
I
she
don't
will.
think so.
well, then he doesn't need
She's
to
gotta-
say let her go because if she actually came forward and said the truth, I mean, he would understand why he's been feeling this way all this time, and it really wasn't about the Amanda.
Well, I think, and I promise we'll get to Nolan right after this. But in terms of, she's finally apologized to Nolan for the first time ever, and now you know she's forming a mini alliance in her own right, and now she can trust Jack, and I think she can finally come out. And I think there was a good quote by Victoria. She said, you know, there's three sides to every story, And right now we've got Conrad, we've got Victoria, and we've got Emily's camp. Emily Van Camp. Pun intended there. So that's my thoughts on that. But let's talk about Nolan and the gray-haired man.
Wow. I knew something was going to happen with the gray-haired man coming back, but I thought it was going to happen while Nolan was acting as the cable guy. And why was he not more careful? Did he not think that this guy, I just don't, his brain doesn't work like Emily's. Like, you got to be so cautious. Of course the dude's going to follow him.
I mean, it was just
You know-
it was kind of like an obvious thing because it's like,
Which one?
you know, I mean, the whole situation being that Conrad approached this gray-haired or white-haired guy about, you know, you're following you're spying on my kids. Don't threaten my family. If you do, I will make sure this will be the end of it or whatever. So, I mean, I think being that he had it in the back of his head, well, somebody in this camp, in his own camp, is spying on this family and threatening them. I need to find out who it is. Somebody knows about what's going on. You heard him on the phone. He said somebody is on to us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's obviously and that was right before Nolan walked through the door. So he's being very cautious and analyzing everything. And I mean, it was just a little clear that there was something fishy going on.
It's
And
going to
also,
be suspicious for sure.
I do want to say, make note of all the clocks in the room. I bet you he has cameras in that room, in those clocks. You never know, or something, because, I mean, I'm sure this guy is some kind of crazy businessman.
gonna
He's
watch
obviously involved
himself?
with terrorists. No, well, I mean, I'm sure he has characters coming through there every day, making business deals, whatever he's doing. I'm sure he's doing something like that. He has something in those clocks. Those clocks are there for a reason.
Well, could they be there for, again, I'm really trying to pull up what those clocks all mean, but like, let's say someone does tamper and set something up, then he could tell if one clock is different from the, I don't know.
Yeah, that's also another thing.
I mean, to me, in the
Man,
basic sense,
He's OCD or something.
the basic sense is that like all those clocks ticking, we're at a ticking time bomb and things are gonna happen because we're reaching the finale. But
Symbolism also.
but that's a real basic notion.
That's one. I think that's one element to a bigger story.
Yeah. So, but I to be honest with you, I don't. You know, again, I think you actually have more thoughts on it than I do in terms of what the clocks mean, because I really don't know.
Well, I thought it was interesting when Nolan was watching the camera on the clocks, you know, of the guy in the house, and he's like, 8:20. He sees one of the clocks that says 8:20. It's clearly not 8:20.
Yeah.
So the guy, obviously, then the guy shows up at the house
Yeah.
and gets
But-
Nolan.
In terms of, I mean, Nolan thought he had it quite good. You know what I mean? He had, he stole the guys, as he says. You know, he got the uniform. He did satellites and things like that, and he messed up the whole thing. So it was, you know, he went through quite some proper channels.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question though? When he said it's not 8:20, was it because he was looking at a clock that said 8:20, or the time code on the video he was, you know?
No, it was there was a
clock.
clock. It was the clock in the gray-haired man's office or whatever it is, and he checked his watch and the times were different, meaning it wasn't a live feed.
But what I'm trying to say now is, don't you guys get it? Those clocks have shit in them. There's obviously, like, he knew that there was a video camera in there, and I'm sure he has video cameras elsewhere. And I'm sure that he screwed around with things so that, knowing that Nolan did this, so that when Nolan was watching, he'd be off.
Yeah.
Because he saw the man in the apartment, yet the man came
Yeah.
through the door.
No, and obviously, you know, now the
think
point being,
there's
we're underestimating this gray-haired man,
Oh, for sure.
and Nolan
For
certainly
sure.
did.
Which we shouldn't. I mean, really, if you think about it, look at what he's done. And he's been so involved with the Graysons and so involved in covering so many things up.
Yeah.
Poor
but,
Nolan.
You know?
And
He just
he-
gets in the middle of everything. Like, he gets beaten up.
But let's talk about the
kidnapped.
scene with Emily and Carol, because you know, that's a pivotal scene in terms of why Nolan did what he did. You know, gosh, what does she say?
I thought that was so smart of Nolan. I'm glad. It just brings a human element to it, I feel.
It does.
And to have her show up, I just thought Nolan, for him to do that, for him to give her the wrong address and have his aunt go to the other place where she gave him the address to be there for Emily. I mean, he is so trying to take care of her. And he's really, really trying to help her make better decisions. Or, you know, as he said, he give her more options.
Yeah.
He doesn't want her to kill anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, but she really...
And the mother is
will.
brought up. The mother is
Yes.
finally brought up.
Yep.
I thought more was going to be said about the mom.
I think more could have been said, but at least they did hint to it. And I think at the end of the day, what Nolan was presenting was, you know, the idea of going back to what the father said in the letters or whatever it was. You know, not every day is a bad day. And so Emily's been having a series of bad days, and finally this
sure.
can, you know what, learn that despite of all of this, you know, Nolan is a true friend. And so every day doesn't have to be bad. Losing Sammy was bad, but guess what? Now you've gained
But look
Jack.
what came out of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not every day has to be so grim, despite this revenge that you're undertaking.
And you know what, going back to the whole like Carol showing up where at the false address, I love that scene because I think Emily needed to hear everything Carol said. Like she needs to listen to someone, and I think Carol kind of stepped up and took that like mother figure.
Yes, she hasn't
you
had
know?
one.
And she kind of stepped up and acted like a mother figure to her. Like, Emily, what would your father think? Nolan was protecting you. You do not want to go down this road. Like you're making the wrong decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that she stepped up and like told her how it is. And you saw
Yeah.
Emily's weak moments in that scene because the way she even responded, she was like visually, you could see that like she was
She was
upset.
ruffled, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And
It was
while
an honest moment.
And while you know, in that moment, I think at that moment it's still processing, but eventually, obviously, it pays off because she finally apologizes to Nolan, which I think we've been waiting for this whole season. She finally says, "I'm sorry."
I think she has a hard time trusting, and she finally does trust Nolan. She gets it, that he does have her best interest. He really is on her side. And
Yeah.
the fact that now Aunt Carol's in it as well, she has a family.
Yeah,
You know?
and Jack too. Now she's
And
again,
Jack.
you know, they're
And
you
she's
know-
starting to, that hard exterior is starting to get cracked away a little bit.
and she says, "I see the light at the end of the tunnel." And because you know the light at the end of the tunnel was okay, I'm gonna plot this revenge, and that's gonna be it. But now it's gonna be, you know what? I can get this revenge, and still have happiness, which is with these people that I love. So, you guys want to talk about people who absolutely hate each other?
Well, actually, before we go into that, talking about people, why don't all you people watching us go on iTunes and comment and rate us on our show tonight? And
That
let
would
us
be
know what you
amazing.
think.
Yes,
Yeah.
we love the comments.
And we've been getting more and more of them, so we 100% appreciate that. You know, as Gabby said, it truly means a lot to us. And the cool part too is, well, the other side that we're gonna ask you is also to tell a friend. That's equally as important as rating and commenting, because word of mouth is really the easiest way to spread the word and get people hooked. And I've seen the results, and I know you guys are doing it, so please continue to do that. You know, I've seen numbers kind of grow every week, and it's not because we're promoting the show on the typical avenues. It's not like we have a big billboard up. No, it's because you literally, you who are listening right now, have told a friend, and guess what? That friend has told another friend, and that's how we grow exponentially.
Right, and because of that, we're now back in the top 10 on our iTunes for
Yay!
AfterBuzz, most downloaded podcast.
Woo,
That's
revenge.
right.
Yeah.
There we
There's,
go.
There's
Thanks,
our
guys.
after sound.
So let's get to number one. Let's get to number one. So continue telling
Yes.
a friend.
Yes.
And you know, if they're not, and you know what, if they're not fans of Revenge, make them fans of Revenge, and then tell them about us. So thank you guys for doing that. We really appreciate it. All right, 3 people who absolutely hate each other: Victoria, Lydia, and Conrad.
Okay,
And
am I the only one that was absolutely shocked to see Lydia in the apartment?
no, I sort of was, but I wasn't when it did happen.
I mean, I know we've all been talking about where is she? Is she coming back? I did not at all expect to see her in that apartment. I did not expect her to be so smug.
Well, the one thing that
Wow.
here's the thing, right? We kind of joked about it in our screening room today of like how last week's episode was totally non-relevant to any of this stuff. The one good thing that certainly, again, we got the backstory, and that was fun. It was a fun episode. But the cool part was knowing that Lydia and Conrad are so close and that they're so devious. I mean, they hooked up on New Year's Eve, and you know, and so seeing Lydia with her glass And then Conrad takes a sip, and then she like looks to him. She's like, "Oh, I gotta take a sip too." So that was fun.
Do we think that Lydia is going to work with Victoria so that she gets immunity?
I think she's on the fence.
She really is.
Because I don't think she knows really who to believe. She obviously doesn't think. Like when Victoria came over and knifed the picture to get the evidence out, she knew that the evidence was being hidden in there. I mean, I think Lydia was kind of like, oh my gosh, what did she just do? But there's no way that Conrad would have done that. She doesn't believe Victoria, obviously. She does trust Conrad fully.
Yeah. But I think the offer that Victoria made, she trusts Conrad and wants to be with Conrad and knows that Conrad's a very powerful man. But that offer is very enticing.
Yes, but I think like Daniel, she's going to, well, no, not like Daniel, actually. I think Lydia is going to find out too late that she should have. I don't think she's going to go with Victoria. I think she's going to stay with Conrad. And when hell hits the fan, or how's it say? What's that saying?
Shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? When that happens, I think she's going to go, oh my gosh, I should have sided with Victoria.
Yeah.
I actually don't even think Victoria's offer stands legitimate because I could see. I mean, do you trust
screwing
somebody?
with Lydia.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't. Do you trust someone that says, "Oh, I'll make sure you get immunity"? No, give me freaking papers, and I want to speak to a federal agent before I'm gonna agree to anything because you will screw me because you don't like me. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I do. I actually think Victoria might be honest about it. You know, I think, ironically, as I've said before in past episodes, this is a war, and they're all amassing their armies. And so if Victoria can gain Lydia, she can and you know genuinely promise her this and really mean it and follow through with it, then Victoria could be a great soldier in this war, and especially if since she's so close with Conrad. You know.
I wonder in the midst of all this if Emily appreciates Victoria trying to like rat out Conrad.
I think I don't know. I think I think right now it's three-sided, and I don't think Victoria's alliance is with Emily. They you know, we could draw a Venn diagram right now. There's certain things that they like about each other. That things.
Well, Victoria doesn't know anything about Emily, but I mean Emily in regards to Victoria.
No, I know, and I think if we drew this out, you know, there's crossover things some things that Emily's doing to Victoria that are actually helping Conrad and things like that. But you know, at the end of the day, they have different agendas, all three of them.
But also,
Definitely.
I see the need for Emily to have anyone come forward and tell the truth. You know, she wanted that with Daniel, and she wanted that with Treadwell. You know what I mean, in every situation, but nobody really came through with it. So I feel like, would she be appreciating what's going on right now, that Victoria is actually trying to release the truth?
I think, and as you've stated in the news and gossip, Gabby, I think it's headed down that way, but it'll take a long, long while before Victoria and Emily stand together victorious in an embrace of, you know.
Yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
So.
But it will.
But it will. Anything you guys want to add before we head into a commercial?
How about the check that Daniel gave Jack?
Yes. Go.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that was a pretty significant amount, and I think that he was doing a typical Grayson move by buying somebody off.
He could have gone $2 million. Why
pay
only
you.
one?
I know. I thought one was a little low. I have to be honest with you. In my head, I'm like, that's really not a lot.
Yeah, that's like
he should
2
have given
cents to him.
more. So is it insulting, or is it really a good thing?
It's insulting in both sense, like that he's trying to pay him off, and then it's such a low amount.
But he knows to Jack that little amount is like that's a lot of money to him.
But that's why it's insulting, because it's like,
terrible.
Here, go, Jester. I'm going to give you what to me is pennies, and you go off running thinking it's a lot of money.
But I like Nolan's comment about you should go ahead and cash that, because if you don't take this money, they're going to find another way to keep you quiet.
Yeah.
So just take the money. It's not you're not a charity case. I wish Jack wouldn't have said anything to Dan. Jack is such an honest person. It's like sometimes you don't have to say everything you think. And I really wish that he would not have said anything to Daniel about knowing what he knows about the guy that was in jail and got killed.
Yeah.
The sweatshirt and all the other stuff with the shooting.
I agree.
A little bummed about that.
Go ahead.
No, well, I was going to change subject because I had something I wanted to bring up. Can I do that?
I'll say one. Well, it'll be quick. I also don't think he should have told Declan anything about. Well, I think he's going to tell a lot to Declan, and Declan's not the brightest tool in the shed. But go ahead, Gabby.
So what I wanted to bring up is that there was a quote by Emily, and she said this to Nolan: "You don't know what I am or what I am capable of." That I like because she said, "What I am." Who are you, Emily? That's interesting and that's mysterious. And what she's capable of. If Nolan doesn't know now what she's capable of, what is she capable of? And that's, I don't know, I just thought it was an interesting line they threw in there. I don't know what your thoughts on that is, but.
I agree. I mean, I think she's capable of a lot.
I mean, I think there could be more to even her story.
Oh, I think there's definitely more. There's so much we still don't know. And the whole her being capable of, I mean, he doesn't want to think she's capable of being able to kill somebody.
But she is.
So I think she is too.
He's going through the 5 stages of
yes, the 5 stages of grief.
Let's just list them off because you know, we kind of.
But it's so true. It's like with life. Whenever you go through anything that brings such a hardship to your life, you do go through these 5 stages. Yeah, obviously.
Well, where does the bargaining come in? That's what I want to know. So
let's go down it real fast. Denial. So, in today's episode, what would you say that was? What was the denial? Some Jeopardy music?
I think it has, I mean, I think it's her feelings for Jack because...
Nice.
There we go.
I definitely think the denial is her denying her feelings for Jack. That if I have to pick something from this particular episode, which I know this is pertaining to this
So why don't we do
episode.
that? So that's what you think. Gabby, what do you think was the anger stage?
I think it could be between that. I definitely like what Kimlai said. Or denial of like what her
But what's
father...
Anger, you're doing number 2.
Yeah, we'll just kind of...
The second stage of grief. Anger.
Well then, okay, so if I'm going along those lines, anger because I think she's angry at the world and she's confused. So I think that's her anger now.
Okay. Bargaining. I think bargaining. This one's a tough one. I think she's bargaining with a lot of people. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I know. I didn't really get the bargaining one.
Well, I think it may come into play later on because now she's going to bargain with the briefcase, which we can talk about more in predictions. But did we reach the depression stage? In that
4
case?
was depression.
But have we reached it in that case or no?
Because you see her with Carol, she's going through all these emotional phases. She's emotionally distraught. She's a wreck. She is a train wreck right now.
And then the 5th one, she says is acceptance, but for her, it's a life sentence without clemency. So, so there you have it, the 5 stages of grief. And we're going to take the next 5 stages to a commercial break. And we're going to come back.
Hey everybody, John Comerford here. I've got my Mad Men with me.
Kevin Undergaro.
Phil Svitek.
For all you fans of Mad Men, we're your AfterBuzz TV hosts of Mad Men. Every Sunday right after the show, 9:30, we're breaking down the episode.
You can also check us out on iTunes and YouTube the following morning.
We're going to get into the imagery, the symbolism, the structure. We give you all the information on Mad Men that the other podcasts out there don't.
Very insightful. You're going to love it. Check us out. Please.
Hello, everybody. We are the LA Complex crew, and we are here with Andre Fuller from the LA Complex, who plays Caldrick King. And you can catch LA Complex every Tuesday night on the CW at 9 o'clock. After that, come to our AfterBuzz TV show where we do a recap of the LA Complex. We talk about Raquel, we talk about sex tapes, we talk about, relationships. And you can catch us live at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, AfterBuzzTV.com. If you can't catch us live, go ahead and swing over to YouTube the next day. You can rate, you can comment, watch us. iTunes, same thing. Download, rate, comment. And we would love to hear your feedback. And we love to support, guys. So please, please, please support us and support the LA Complex. Buzz you later.
Guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn,
Giselle Ugardi.
Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
He's here.
Hello, hello. What were you talking about, Kimlai?
Nothing.
Well, speaking about what you want to buzz about, there's a question on our minds that we'd love for you guys to answer. It's was the grave that Emily was digging at the beginning of the episode, in fact, was it meant for Sammy or the gray-haired man?
Yes,
so,
leave us a comment or tweet us.
Tweet us. Where can they tweet you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can tweet me at Kimlai Yingling.
Gabby?
And you can tweet me at Gabrielle_Loren. And we just want to point out something. There's two different sides here in our room right now. We believe that either this happened at the grave 36 hours before. No, after. And then they went 36 hours before. So we think in the studio that it had to do with Sammy's grave only.
Yes, I think she was digging the grave for Sammy. I think the shot at the beginning was obviously the shot at the end. Okay, obviously that's like because I know it's right. The shot, the grave is for Sammy because she has the same emotion at the beginning as she does at the end. And she's not going to dig a grave for a white-haired man.
By the way, let us know your thoughts.
But
Tweet
let
us.
us know.
She's not that nice.
You guys have these guys' Twitter handles.
Let us know.
The regular AfterBuzz TV Twitter handle is at AfterBuzz TV. So let us know your thoughts, and let's get on to some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So for May 16th, News and Gossip Revenge, second to last episode, we are moving to Sundays on, I mean, not necessarily us at AfterBuzz, but Revenge is moving to Sundays on the second season.
What?
Yeah, so
that's a good thing.
They will no longer be Wednesday night.
That's actually a good thing.
And you want to elaborate on that?
Well, Sunday's a huge day for TV. Huge day, and then it kind of diminishes at the days of the week. So Sunday's huge, then the next one is Monday, Tuesday's less, Wednesday's less. Thursday kind of picks back up, but it's more for it's more for comedy rather than like dramatic shows. But the fact that it's moving to Sunday is huge.
And so also, Revenge is making its way to Europe. It was picked up on British TV's channel E4, which is a digital channel.
Nice.
Catered to, yes, I know, right? Edgy youth and entertainment. So it's going on there. Everybody in Britain will be able to see that. And that's going to be later this year, though. And I believe that is my news and gossip for you guys. I know it's short, but stick with us for the last episode.
No, that's great news about season 2, though.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's so excited. It's season 2. I'm so excited.
It's very exciting. So let's predict season 1 finale.
And now your AfterBuzz TV
It's gonna be a rough
predictions.
Well, in terms of this episode, it was a great penultimate episode. A lot of things happened, and the snowball is spinning faster and faster down the mountain, and the finale is going to be insane. And we're going to see what, Gabby? We're going to see Nolan and
Emily
in
some kind of like
Sexy handcuffs
with blood, most likely in a basement somewhere. And I predict that it is the white-haired man that does this.
Is it white or gray?
The gray-haired man.
No, I think in the show they referred to him as
the white-haired man.
I don't remember, but either way, the white and gray-haired man. The white and gray-haired man obviously took Nolan in this episode, and Emily's next because Emily's gonna figure out Nolan's gone, and she's gonna go after him.
And she's already preparing right now, but is stopped when Daniel comes home and he puts down the briefcase.
I know, that was awesome. She's gonna grab that. That evidence is hers.
But she's also got to do it in a clever manner because she can't just take it, because then it's just too obvious for Daniel to be like, wait.
I think Daniel's gonna blame his mom.
And if she does do that right away, then she has to, something big has to happen, and she basically has to lock up all these people. You know what I mean? Like she can't just take it and hold it as ransom or evidence, because it's never gonna work. It has to pay off immediately if she does do that herself.
Also, though, if he put it down in her house, it's like he knows he put it down in her house. If Emily takes it, he's gonna know Emily took it.
I think she creates a scenario. She knows that it's going to be delivered to the dad.
Yeah.
So she does create, this is what I predict, she will create some sort of scenario where she will end up with the briefcase. She won't be blamed. Victoria won't be blamed because something will happen that she'll be able to take it, and it's not going to show up until next season.
And I think that's rough. I think if she was really smart right now, Here's what you don't want. You don't want it to grab it in transit. Right now, you have it downstairs, and I would create the scenario, film a break-in. Whatever has to happen, it's in your house. It's a much better chance to grab it now versus in transit or whatever it may be. But so much is going to happen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, to continue the conversation, there was so much to talk about, so much emotion. Let us know what you guys think. One more time, where can they find you girls?
You can find me on Twitter. The handle is @Kimlai Yingling. Also, you can go to my Facebook fan page. It's facebook.com/EatonAsian.
And Gabby?
Same for me. My Facebook fan page, Gabrielle Loren with the number 1. And then my Twitter, Gabrielle_Loren. Thank you, Ronnie, for the applause. I appreciate it.
And remember, follow at AfterBuzz TV. If you do any purchases on Amazon, go to AfterBuzzTV.com first. Click on the Amazon banner, purchase away. And if you're a video gamer, go to GameFly.com/AfterBuzzTV. 15-day free trial. It'll be worth it. Trust me. Take us out of here, Ronnie.
One more day to go. Stay with us.
Have a good
From
night.
Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.